I talk to literally people that are currently under brutal bombing campaigns and mass starvation campaigns conducted by the Israeli state. I cover actual fucking news. The centering this conversation around the personal feelings of a person living in Los Angeles, California, is some of the most unproductive, most selfish, American exceptionalist, garbanzo nonsense I have ever had to encounter. The well is so deep. The well is so deep for American insanity, okay? How does this center my feelings? And it's not even your personal feelings. It's not even your personal feelings. It's the feelings of another person that you're coming in here to continue this conversation on. I'm done. The reason why I don't cover this stuff is because I don't think it's productive, number one. I think it's for a lot of people who simply care about the drama of it all, not necessarily about the real impact. I think it's a great disservice to the people that I have met, both online and people that I've had here in person. Like when I think about these issues, I think about like, how will I face Motaz Azaiza? Okay. A man born in Gaza, okay, his family originally from Gaza, a man who was able to escape Gaza, a photojournalist whose assistant second in command friend and journalist was assassinated by the Israeli state. Whenever I think about these issues, like I think about him. I think about Hossam in North Gaza right now. I think about Omar, who has had to move from place to place inside of Gaza time and time again, whose friend Meadow, who was a fan of this stream as well, who was assassinated by the Israeli state. And when I think about those people that are still there, that are still trying to survive in one of the most unjust acts that a state can enact, and then like your expectation from me is to sit back and talk about like just endless selfish, self-centered drama. Like, how can I make the genocide about me is what it feels like. It feels hollow. It feels like it's a disservice. And I get kind of grossed out when I see my own chatters coming in here to try and consistently repeat these talking points. There's a genocide occurring and people are like, well, you interviewed a Yemeni teenager who was a survivor of genocide 9 or 10 months ago at this point. And I think it's really problematic that you did that. Yeah, okay. How are you doing mentally? I'm doing fine. I was doing fine until I went live and saw this like barrage of idiotic statements. Like one thing that I did see from all the drama that like immediately zapped my brain was Ethan using a clip from a Bonercelli fan account, an unlisted clip titled HasanAbi in his takedown. Like that's crazy, man. How fucking far down the rabbit hole are you that you're doing that? I feel like he basically made you to be the representative of anti-Semitism. I don't think people believe this. It's abhorrent. It's completely unacceptable. I've never allowed it, and I will never allow it. Like that's it. And I think his own community is still very much upset at him. And I don't think that like it's something that I don't think that he understands. Like not every single person that's upset at him is like a fan of mine. I was live yesterday. I wasn't talking about this shit. And I saw some of the comments before they disabled the comments. Like I saw people with the screenshots of the comments, all the top comments are like, dude, what are you doing? Like I'm saying this again. And I said this yesterday. It's not that you boost anti-Semitism. It's that you let it run with the community and the mods. I do not. Okay. I can't in good conscience. Like, look, people have time and time again come after me for a litany of different idiotic things. Right. I think it was like Abba and Preach that said that I called them transphobic. That was like unacceptable or whatever. And then they said I was transphobic. And then there was so many people that would constantly come in here and be like, Hasan, you're transphobic, huh? Over and over again. And only time causes people to like truly comprehend what I'm about. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'll just hope that people will be charitable. I have a problem with Zionism. I've never had a problem with Jewish people. I've always, and will continue to always defend Jewish people against anti-Semitism. Zionism, especially when attached to the actions of Israel now being claimed as a thing that all Jews believe and respond to positively, with this like vague, constantly changing, constantly shifting understanding of what Zionism actually is inherently anti-Semitic. The idea that Jews are a monolith or are of one mind on this issue is anti-Semitic. Zionism is not Judaism. if you understand, I mean, this is from 2021, stop conflating Jews all around the world with a horrific, violent Israeli occupation. You are being anti-Semitic when you claim that all Jews are a monolith in their unconditional support for a far-right, ultra-nationalist, ethno-state government engaging in war crimes. Majority report agreeing with you. The term Zionism can sometimes encounter issues because there are many Jews who identify with the term for reasons of upbringing or whatever and fit with the Einstein version more or less. Jewish community and pluralistic Palestine. Yeah, that definition, Einstein didn't agree with either and recognized was wrong. Einstein would now be considered an anti-Zionist with his attitude about what the nation-state project of Israel looked like early on. That's the problem, okay? You can't just like assume that this is something that it objectively isn't. It's like saying, well, I don't know, a lot of people grew up with the understanding that Israel is a democracy. Okay, I don't care. It's not. What do you mean? It's a ridiculous thing to be like, well, sorry, social conditioning actually is more important in this circumstance. Well, it's not. It's not the truth. What do you want me to do? Fucking lie to you? That's what's crazy about this entire process is that you can't imagine something that Israel is not. Okay, you can't imagine an alternative reality of what Zionism should be when it's not that, and then just be like, and I feel like I'm being hurt in this circumstance. I don't know how else to go about this. I don't get it. I don't fully comprehend it. I don't know what to say. What a ridiculous conversation to have over and over and over again. It is a settler colonial project. That is what it is. The issue, however, is that it is a settler colonial project that has unfolded in front of our eyes at a time when we've learned too much about the mistakes of the past when we were growing up. So it is at odds with what we think is right and wrong. So you can't make up for that. It would have still been wrong if it was conducted in the 17th century, but we're not in the 17th century. So he's not lying about experiencing harassment, but he's totally neglecting the truth that is not encouraged by Hasan or that it's the norm of life. His brain is broken, is sad. Like, I'm sure he's experiencing harassment. Of course he's experiencing harassment. I haven't stopped experiencing harassment since October 7th. Everyone that has any opinion on this is going to get shit on. I get shit on by people who are pro-Palestine who say I'm not sufficiently pro-Palestine. I get shit on by everyone who's pro-Israel nonstop. The difference is when you say that about someone who is not pro-Israel, it sticks. There is a mainstream narrative surrounding this sort of thing. That's why the college campus protesters, regardless of their Jewish background, for example, were considered to be in the pocket of Hamas and the IRGC. That was a real narrative in the media, right? The balance is entirely slanted in mainstream discourse on these sorts of issues. This does not mean that there aren't bad faith actors that try to masquerade as pro-Palestinian in an effort to funnel a lot of anti-Semitic agitative propaganda. The distinction here is that I do not allow that, and I regularly speak out against it. That's why I said yesterday, like, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar, okay? There are very thoughtful, very kind, very understanding, and much less, how do I say this? Like, much less straightforward anti-Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to, I think, develop a different understanding of these matters. I don't think that I will be able to reach him, but maybe they could. That's it. Because the reason why I bring up Sam Cedar is because, well, not only is he my uncle, okay, my real uncle, and not my fake uncle like Jank, but also because I think he is an incredibly thoughtful person that will broach the subject with a lot more charitability than someone like Felix will. You know what I mean? Gabor Mate is another great example of this. I just don't think that I can, I'm gonna be honest, like, I just don't think that I can penetrate the hardened position that he has. You probably just need to bite the bullets of what? Bite what bullets? Just stop covering Gaza? Stop speaking to the humanity of the victims? Just bite the bullet on the Tim Houthi kid? Why? Why would I ever turn around and take accountability over the fucking tweets of a dude in Yemen who could be killed by American bombing campaigns that are happening in his neighborhood every goddamn day? What an insane, like, listen to yourself, okay? Listen to yourself. There is no bullet to bite. I'm not going to ever cave or capitulate an insane set of standards, an insane set of expectations. If I did something that was fucked up by my estimations, I would, of course, apologize for it. I have time and time again. But when people turn around and act like a 19-year-old in Yemen is not a survivor of genocide because I don't feel so, I'm sorry, you're wrong. You know what I mean? You're objectively wrong. No one cares in the media interviews an IDF soldier who says to level Gaza law. I know. I think it's utterly ridiculous to even have this conversation. Like, I don't know. It's just very, very stupid. I think people don't understand Ethan's own fan base because he had a genuine change of mind, which I respect him for. Okay, still to this day, on a lot of these issues, he cultivated a very progressive community, much broader and much different than my community. And those very progressive people, understandably, have a different attitude. I think that is the main problem here. The main problem here is that I don't think he understands this. I don't think he understands that his audience actively try to not think about his opinions or the way he presents himself on this issue, because the reality of the matter is, I still believe and hope that he is considerate of the genocide that Israel is engaging in and that he recognizes that Israel is an apartheid state. I don't know where he's at on the matter, but considering that he consistently pulls up random people on Twitter and says, I've been getting serially harassed by people over and over again from Hasan's community. I think that's his way of saying, my opinion on the issue is known by everyone, but every single time, even the conversations, look back at the conversations that we had in the early steps, okay, in the early stages of October, the conversation that we had on my stream. Go back and watch the conversation with today's eyes. My position on none of this has changed. And since then, a lot more people have become more cognizant, become more understanding of the situation on the ground. I've had all of this. I've had this whole thing. I've had this entire conversation now at this point. And all he will see are things that are clip-chimped with the most negative framing possible. And it will continue this endless spiral of drama.